Inez is absent, and Councilmember Argumedo is in the closed session room.
Yes. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council on any item of the closed session agenda may do so at this time. Please complete the speaker card and give it to the interim city clerk prior to commencement of the City Council. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Interim city clerk, do we have any speakers?
None.
Okay, we will now go to closed session. Thank you.
The record reflect Councilmember Argumedo is in open session. Do you need me to read what's on the
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. City Council conference regarding public employee recruitment, employment, appointment pursuant to government code, section 54957B, employee title, city clerk. Item number 2 is pursuant to government code, section 54956.8. The City Council will confer with its real property negotiator, Ernie Hernandez, with respect to real estate negotiations regarding 5933 Telegraph Road, Commerce, California, 90040.
Thank you, interim city clerk. We are now going to closed session. please report any actions from this closed session.
Certainly, Mayor Pro Tem. With council members Argumedo, Rebollo, Altamirano, and Mayor Pro Tem Garcia being present, the City Council met in closed session, discussed the following items. City Council discussed item number 1, which was a conference regarding public employee employment. This is authorized under Government Code Section 54957, subsection B. The title of the position is City Clerk. City staff made a presentation. City Council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. Item number 2 is a discussion with, related to real estate negotiations. The property is at 5933 Telegraph Road. City staff made a presentation. City Council provided direction. No final reportable action was taken. And that completes my report out of closed session. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. We are now starting our City Council meeting as it is now 6 p.m., I believe. 6:04. I now call to order the June 9th, 2026 concurrent joint meeting of the City Council of City of Commerce, Joint Powers, Financing Authority, and Governing Body of the Successor Agency to the Commerce Community Development Commission. Interim City Clerk, please do a roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Altamirano,
Here.
Councilmember Argumedo,
Here.
Councilmember Rebollo. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Here.
Let the record reflect Mayor Lainez is absent.
Thank you. So you can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. The Pledge of Allegiance will be conducted by our City Finance Director, Castellan. Please lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, honorable council members, and members of the public. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. As we gather tonight, we are reminded that communities and strengthened with people come together with shared purposes. Around the world, the beginning of the World Cup will bring people to different cultures and languages together through common love of the game. May the same spirit of connection, teamwork, and respect guide us this evening as we work on behalf of the residents, businesses, and families of commerce. Let our discussions be thoughtful, of our focus always be building a stronger community. With that, let us begin tonight's meeting. Thank you. And now we will have our appearances and presentations. The City Council will receive a presentation on the 2026 Summer Reading Program, Plant a Seed and Read. Will this be conducted by
Hi, Good Egg. What are you planting?
Seeds!
Not bad seeds, I hope.
No! Information seeds, story seeds, imagination seeds.
What will you do with the seeds when they're grown?
Read, of course!
You could just go to the library.
All aboard! Plant a seed and read this summer at your library with reading programs for children, teens, and adults.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members.
Hi.
My name is Sylvia Cisneros, and I am your senior librarian for the City of Commerce Public Library. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share information about the 2026 Summer Reading Program, which begins next Monday, June 15th. This year's theme is Plant a Seed, Read, and we are excited to offer a summer filled with reading, learning, and creativity. Next slide. Our summer reading program is designed for everyone in the community. We offer programs and reading challenges for children, teens, and adults. Participants will have opportunities to earn prizes, attend special events, and discover new library resources throughout the summer. Through this year's program, we hope that participants will read more and discover library resources, including some of our newest digital apps and online services. We also hope that they learn more about gardening and the many benefits that it provides, participate in hands-on gardening experiences, explore the farm-to-table concept and healthy eating habits, experience farming and plants in fun, engaging, and interactive ways. Our goal is not only to encourage reading, but also to connect learning with real-life gardening experiences. And to keep participants motivated and engaged through summer, we will be offering prizes and incentives for completing reading goals and participating in the activities. We are especially excited about our grand prizes. One of them is tickets to Dodger games, which will be awarded at the conclusion of our program. We have planned various educational and entertaining programs for the community. Some highlights include a Native American seed program, plant bingo, bonsai 101, a field trip to UCLA Botanical Garden, succulent training workshops. And in addition, families can enjoy puppet shows, magic shows, live animal presentations, and interactive drum programs. These activities will support our summer theme while creating memorable experiences. One of the exciting additions to our library this year is the Charlie Cart. Thanks to a grant awarded by the California State Library, we received 8 sewing machines, 2 activity tables for our children's areas, and a Charlie Cart. A Charlie Cart is a mobile teaching kitchen specifically designed for educational programs. It allows us to bring cooking demonstrations and hands-on food education directly into library spaces. As you can see in the picture, it is a fully equipped kitchen with blender, pots, oven, everything we need for those experiences. Using the Charlie Cart, we hope to offer programs focused on healthy eating, nutrition, simple cooking skills, cultural food experiences, and farm-to-table learning opportunities. We are very excited about the many possibilities this new resource brings to the community. Another new resource coming to the library, a new addition is the hydroponic garden, also known as the Flex Farm. We will be the 5th library in the entire nation having this hydroponic garden in our library. A Flex Farm is an indoor hydroponic growing system that allows plants and vegetables to be grown without soil. Instead, plants grow in nutrient-rich water while using significantly less water than traditional gardening methods. Throughout the summer, community members will be able to watch vegetables grow, learn about sustainable agriculture, and participate in educational gardening activities. Our vision is for this to become a true community garden experience. We want residents to help us plant, monitor, and harvest the vegetables throughout the season. When the produce is ready, community members will be invited to take home some of the harvest, allowing them to enjoy the vegetables they help grow and creating a direct connection between learning, gardening, and healthy eating. We are also excited to see this project continue to grow throughout the year. To officially begin our summer reading program, we will be hosting a kickoff celebration this coming Monday, June 15, at 3:30 p.m. Families will be able to enjoy balloon twisters, live music, gardening activities, and an introduction to our new indoor hydroponic garden. We will also be offering free Kona ice to everyone who registers for the summer reading program that day. It's a fun way to welcome the community and encourage families to sign up and get everyone excited about reading and gardening. During the last week of July, to conclude our summer reading program, we will celebrate the accomplishments of our participants with special events for each age group. Youth participants will enjoy the now traditional foam party. Our teens will celebrate with a silent disco experience, and adults will enjoy a dinner with a special performance by Trio Renacimiento. These celebrations will recognize the hard work of our readers and provide a fun way to conclude another successful summer. And to conclude, the summer reading program is one of the library's most important annual initiatives. We are excited to welcome residents beginning June 15, and we look forward to another successful summer at the Commerce Public Library. Thank you, and I will be happy to answer any questions if there's any.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for providing these wonderful services to our community. I know my daughter took advantage of the reading program when she was younger, and you know, she did so well that she graduated from UNC, so I'm very proud of her and proud to say that also. But I would like, it says there it's for all ages, so I'm ready to sign up for the planting and the plant to seed, and I'm ready to sign up for the cooking because those are the two things I really need help with. But thank you for your presentation. Any questions? Yes, Councilman DeBoyo.
You mentioned the Kona Ice was for anybody that registered for the reading program that day. So the registration, has it already opened, or it'll be open it starts that day?
It starts at 10 a.m. as we open the doors of our libraries on Monday. So if they come early to register, they will receive a ticket
Okay,
in
that's
case
what I
they
was
want
gonna
to come back to the special kickoff celebration in the afternoon.
And then what if they so that same day, is it going to be open at the other libraries for them to register? Everything just happens here?
No, it will be open at all three sites, at Bandini and Bristol. At the Bristol Library in Bandini, we have balloon twisters, and they will be also receiving ice cream as they sign up over there.
So as they sign up, they're going to get a ticket there if they want to come to the kickoff here as well, correct? At Bandini?
At Bandini, they will be receiving their own ice cream over there.
Oh, and what about Bristol?
The same.
So everybody's
Bristol and
gonna have,
Bandini
like,
will
their
be the
little
same.
Each of them is going to have their own little kickoff, is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, they're gonna have, they're gonna have a performer and ice cream. For whoever cannot come to Rosewood, they can go ahead and go to their neighborhood library.
Oh, nice, okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Councilman Arroyo, anyone else have any questions? No? No? Thank you. Okay, we now move to public comment. At this time, members of the public who wish to address the city council on any agenda items or any matter not on the agenda and have submitted a speaker slip, please come to the podium in order that your name is called. Interim City Clerk, do we have, I'm sorry, you did give me the 2 cards, okay. Remember, please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. The first speaker card that I have is Yvonne Sandoval. Please come up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Yvonne Sandoval, and I have a major request, but first thing, I want to thank for 2 items that I have been involved in. And number 1, I want to thank Ivan and the Parks and Recs for allowing us to have that beautiful event with a painting with Calixco, and that was just superb and how everything turned out, and I was like on high cloud 9 for like 3 days. And again, I want to thank Adolfo Marquez for allowing us to have 9 Day of Prayers when Elsie Cardoza passed away at the Senior Center. So I am here now to request one major thing, and allow me to open up my notes. I am here to petition on behalf of the seniors at the Senior Center in regards to Elsie Cardoza's passing away. It was the desk that she worked at. And we would like to have a plaque with her name on in front of her desk to honor her and do as to never forget her. I wish that could be possible, and I will leave it at your discretion and hope to see that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. City Manager, see if we can get together with the Parks and Rec Department to see if we can get a plaque going. And Elsie was very special to most of us that work with her. I mean, all of us that work with her. We worked with her for several years, and she's a wonderful person, and she will be missed. Thank you. Second speaker, Susana Larios.
Hello, my name is Susana Larios. I'm here again. So I'm here to talk about the Modelo project, and it made me think, a couple of days ago, I went to the dentist to get a filling and a temporary crown, and I was on the chair, and I was feeling the vibrations, I was feeling the drilling, I was feeling the water flowing through my mouth, and it drew so many parallels to all the construction, the heavy construction that's been going around in our community. It got me really sad because at least in the dentist chair, I was able to get up and leave. And I mean, I still had anesthesia and I really couldn't eat that much. But I knew going to my house the following day was not going to be as relaxing. My neighbors and I have been dealing with the constant drilling, digging, vibrations, the fear of our houses being damaged, or they are being damaged, from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Luckily, every so often, some Saturdays they save us and we can breathe. So I'm thankful for that. Although I took the developer's offer to stay at the DoubleTree and I used it, I can say that being in that hotel room is so isolating, it's so lonely. And I mean, I'm in gym clothes right now and I use that gym and I worked out in that gym, but going back to the room is not like my home. My home, I have a 4-bedroom house. My daughter has one wing, I have the other wing, right? We can walk, we can cook, we can go to the restroom, we can be in peace. And being in that hotel room is just, it's not the same. I miss so many things about living in that community. I miss waking up, especially now during my summer break and walking around the park. The birds chirping, that's something that people don't appreciate, but I know I did during COVID. It was amazing. I miss Marianne. I miss the other staff members at Veterans Park and just talking and saying hi to them. I know during COVID, I would see like Adolfo and some of the staff members at the park, so that was really nice, and just connecting with other people in our community. I miss a place to go just walking. I miss having a place to take my nephew within walking distance. In the evenings, I even miss Ray. I miss Ray and how he motivates his exercisers to just keep pushing themselves and reminding us we need to get up and start working out. And I know they're short-lived, but I miss those pickleball players because that was pretty exciting. But the most important thing I miss is feeling safe in my own home, not feeling constantly anxious and stressed all the time, having to look up every single time and look for cracks, or being afraid of going outside because I think there's lead or asbestos. But I just want to make sure that you guys are constantly aware of this fear that not only me, but my neighbors are feeling and constantly feeling, especially now since the city has raised the threshold so the developer can drill heavier, and they could dig more. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lario, for your comments. We now have Cassandra Bautista. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly.
Good evening. My name is Cassandra Baptiste, 6355 Avenida Aguas Calientes. I'm here, and I can second to my neighbor, who is right directly next to me, what we're going through. I know you guys, I understand the politics of everything, I do, but I want to know if you really hear us. I mean, I'm talking to you all. Do you really, council members, do you really hear our plea, our concern? I understand the Modelo project is gonna move forward. I'm for it, but not at the expense of our homes. Our homes are being damaged. I was home, I was at the hotel and came home, this was the other day, came home that morning, and I'm telling you, 5.0 earthquake movement, it was shaking, the whole foundation. And just think of this going on months after months, your home shaking like this. Not continuously, but still the shake. That's definitely going to be structural damages. We already see the cosmetic damages. So I'm asking, what is it that you can't do? What is it that you can't do? Not what you could do, but what is it that you can't do, so we can at least be clear on what you can't do to help us, the Commerce homeowners. A lot of us been living there for years. My husband have purchased it before they even broke ground. He's been there for 20-something years. I came on board after. So I'm exhausted. And I'm just praying that Modelo do the right thing when it comes to taking care of our property. Thank you. Need your assistance. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bautiste. Next speaker, Veronica Chavez.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Chavez, and I live at 6359 Avenida Aguascalientes, 27 feet from the Modelo project. We are now entering 4 months of daily heavy shaking, starting at 7 a.m., including Saturdays, 4 months of interior cracking, dust intrusions, health impacts, and 4 months of the city failing to provide meaningful oversight. Last week, the developer admitted the original building was built like a bunker. That alone should have triggered heightened caution, structural review, and strict vibration controls. But the developer also stated that the city never provided the original blueprints. So I ask, how was demolition approved without them? Where are these plans, and why was work allowed to proceed anyway? The city manager's own mission statement promises leadership, oversight, and timely responses to constituent needs. Yet, throughout the project, we have seen the opposite: dismissive responses, delays, shifting explanations, and no meaningful action to protect residents living 27 feet from demolition. This is Mr. Hernandez here. This failure was made worse by the city attorney advised the city to raise the vibration thresholds after exceedances, multiple days. A project involving structural risk, missing plans, and repeated violations requires real-time legal oversight, not legal retreat. Instead of enforcing protections, the city attorney effectively told the developer, if you exceed the limits, we will raise them for you. That is harmful legal advice, and it's left residents further unprotected. So we have three conflicting explanations from city manager here. The EIR was vague, the city attorney feared litigation, the thresholds reflect legal city standards. Those are not responses. We need protections. The excuses are also contradict. The city manager repeated that the contractor is following guidelines, and just last Thursday, AQMD issued fines and shut the project down. A project truly operating within guidelines does not get fined and shut down by regulatory agency. That enforcement action provides the city's manager false. Thresholds are not numbers that can be raised whenever the enforcement becomes inconvenient. They must protect the actual sensitive receptors, which we are, 27 feet away from the project. I want to address the entire city council here. Whoever's missing, they're gonna miss out on this, but none of you have spoken for us. Prove me wrong if you have advocated for us. Can I finish with my asks, please?
Just a few seconds more. Thank you.
So tonight, I'm asking City Clerk to formally note this request and provide a written response within 10 days, please. Release the raw PPV data that the city installed, the monitors, and I requested months ago, and they're refusing to release them. Provide independent structural and vibration assessments for affected residents paid for by the city, not the residents. I want those two items addressed, please.
Thank you, Ms. Chavez. We have Mark Chavez. Just a reminder, the limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, thank you. My name is Mark Chavez, 6359 Avenida Aguas Calientes is my address. What can I say, right, that hasn't been said by my neighbors? Yes, we are 27 feet away from the construction. Yes, my home does have damage. I had to hire a forensic engineer myself who executed a survey. I did this because the survey team that was promised by Adrian Comstock was casual. They came over, very casual, took a few photos, a few measurements, and that was it. It was maybe 15 minutes long. When I asked for the report for transparency, I got 0. And then now Adrian's advice is to encourage us to get our own structural engineers and/or assessors to assess our damage. I mean, I'm not an expert at assessing a house. It takes me 2 hours, 2.5 hours usually to walk my home and scope and take pictures and videograph the damage to my home. The city has this information. I shared it with Braulio. So the city has evidence of my damage, right? Again, that's what I can see as someone who's not qualified to make these type of photographs or assessments, right? So like my wife has mentioned, right, I feel strongly that the city should look at options of securing individuals, professionals to come and survey our homes, because we can only see what we can see and we're not trained, right? We didn't ask to be put into a position where we have to survey our home, but yes, we are, because we're here, right? You know, I think also Adrian Comstock, you know, he's had for months now a good neighbor policy that we all signed and put forward. Basic protections, right? My neighbor has to power wash her patio once a week. Why isn't Adrian doing that? Or Comstock Realty Partners, right? Just assurance that he's going to be our champion when it comes to talking to the insurance agent and adjusters for recovery of damages to our homes, right? He can't even make simple commitments, and I think that's unacceptable. What I also think is unacceptable, it's now going on 3 months. 3 months that we've asked for the raw PPV vibration data. Not a summary, not a dashboard, but the actual raw 10-second stamp, 5-second stamp of the vibration thresholds. It's been 3 months. What's a reasonable time? I asked city manager, you folks, kind folks, what is a reasonable time to get that request fulfilled? It's been 3 months. If I performed at my job in that way, I mean, it wouldn't hold well for me. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Next speaker, Leonard Mendoza.
Good evening, City Council. I was gonna speak about the term limits, but I'll make that my second point. It's easy always to say, well, let's do this, let's do that. And me as mayor, I'm always asked, what would you have done? Well, this is what I would have done or would do if I was mayor. I would meet with the developer, I would meet with the residents, and what I would do is I would be an intermediate and let the developer listen to their concerns. And the council, you guys gotta take this serious. I know you're not taking it serious because you guys are not doing nothing about it. Like Ms. Chavez said, the developer was here for 11 minutes the last time, and you guys had no power to cut him short. And when he was gonna be cut short, he looked at the mayor and says, Mayor, can I pay? Oh, sure, Mr. So again, you guys are not taking this position serious. I don't care what you say or how united you guys are. These are the bosses. You guys got elected to serve us. We don't work for you, you work for us. So again, you need to listen to the residents. I came to the last planning commission meeting and I told the commissioners up there, vote as if you live in that community. Vote as you were experiencing the problems that they were, and I guess they didn't vote like if they live in the community. And I know they're all community members, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. But I'm gonna go down to the reason why I'm here this evening. The reason why I'm here this evening is because the City of Commerce in 2011 voted term limits. And the gentleman to the far left wants to run for city council again, and he's already served, by the time he's done, he has already served 14 years and 8 months. The term limits that were passed in 2011 was for a council member to serve 3 4-year terms or no longer than 12. Fortunately for you, the county extended a couple of times, but you're almost gonna be there 15 years. If a council member cannot get their anything done in 12 years, he or she's gotta go. You gotta give other members of the community an opportunity to come and try to better our city. The man over there has been in city council almost 30 years. Again, how many years do you need to complete? 30, 40, 50, 60? What, are you gonna die sitting at the dais? Give somebody else a chance. Why don't you take the lead and help our residents? You've been there 30 years, you're the one with the most experience. And the gentleman here, city attorney, you work for the residents. So don't give no interpretation to him that he could run. Tell him he can't, we voted, and respect the voters.
Thank you for your comments. We now move into consent calendar. Does anyone on the city council wish to pull an item? We are moving from, I'm sorry, let me repeat that. The consent calendar, we will do 2, 3, 4, and 5. Does anyone wish to pull an item?
No.
If nobody wishes to pull an item, I will move to approve items 2 through 5.
And I'll second.
So we have a first and a second, and motion,
No, make it a vote. All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Anyone opposed?
opposed?
Any opposed?
None.
Does anyone want to abstain? Okay, motion passes. All right. And now we move into scheduled matters. Item number 6, Community Facility District. The council will receive an educational presentation on the CFD. City manager, who will be doing the presentation?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Finance Director will introduce the item and with the presentation.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, the item before you tonight is a presentation on establishing a community facilities district here in the City of Commerce, or a CFD, and what that process entails. And the very first step in that process is to provide the City Council with a informational overview of what a CFD is, how a CFD is created, the team members that are part of the CFD, and just general information to give you information on what a CFD is and on what we're recommending. Here tonight to give that presentation is our bond counsel, Mr. Brian Forbath, who, along with Dan Mazziello from the Cosmont Financial Services, have been very instrumental in this process. And, I know they've done a lot of work behind the scenes over the last several months, but over the last several weeks, we've had significant progress to get to this point of the financing. I've certainly enjoyed my working experience with both Brian and Dan, and they are gentlemen who have a wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to these special financing districts. And so if the Mayor Pro Tem has any questions, or the council members have any questions during the presentation or after the presentation, we're all available to answer those questions as best as we can. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Dan Mazziello first so that he can introduce himself to you, and then we'll pass it over to Brian, who will walk you through the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Castellon. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, city staff. Nice to see you all. I'm Dan Mazziello. I'm a what is my title? Senior Managing Director at Cosmont Financial Services. We represent the city as their municipal advisor for this process. As your finance director noted, we've been working behind the scenes to form a community facilities district. So tonight, your bond counsel will run through that process and sort of explain what that means, what the implications are, the practical considerations, and answer your questions if you have any. And we are planning to be back here in front of you next week for a consideration of an action item. So I appreciate the opportunity to say hello. And if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Mr. Dan Mazziello.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Tem, members of council. Brian Forbath from Stradlin, Yaka, Carlson, and Routh. It's a pleasure to be in front of you. It's been a little while since I've been here, but I've actually had the pleasure of representing the city for, going on probably like 15 years now in connection with all your bond transactions. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. Again, I'm a partner and president of Stradlin, a bond counsel firm in the state. If we can go to the first slide. And so, again, as both Alvaro and Dan mentioned, the intention here is to come back at your next meeting here on June 23rd with an action item to form a CFD by the city. And we thought it made the most sense to come to you all in sort of an informational setting before that. So to provide you with some information about what CFDs are, how they work, how they operate, so that when you're going to be forced to consider whether to form one, you have a better sense of information, and give you time this next 2 weeks to ask and answer any questions that you may have about the process associated with it. So what is a CFD? A CFD is really it's a land secured district, and there's basically two types. There's a community facilities district or an assessment district. CFDs and assessment districts are used throughout California to finance backbone infrastructure for development. So think streets, roads, sewers, water, etc., the signals, that sort of stuff, schools also. Historically, assessment districts were used a lot to finance this infrastructure, but more recently, cities have moved on to use community facilities districts because it's a more flexible tool in terms of how you can spread the tax burden among the future residents and how it sort of operates and functions. And we'll get into that all in more detail as we go. Can we move into the next slide, please? So a CFD is actually a separate legal entity that the city council will form You all will serve as the legislative body of that district and will sit in your own roles where, the mayor will be the chair of the legislative body, et cetera. The city clerk will be the secretary, et cetera. It's created through a landowner vote or a registered voter vote. In this instance, what we're going to come forward with you is really a landowner vote, and it can be a landowner vote when there's no registered voters that reside within the boundaries of the district that's to be formed. And in that case, each landowner will have a vote for each acre or portion of land that they own within the district. Eventually, the purpose of forming this district is to levy a tax on the property, and that tax is then used to secure the repayment of bonds that would be issued by the Community Facilities District to finance these improvements. And when I say finance these improvements, it's really a reimbursement to the developer for the cost of the improvements that these public improvements that they're putting into the ground. The bonds are repaid solely from the special taxes. It's not a liability of the city. The city will have no financial responsibility to repay debt service on the bonds. It's secured solely by a special tax on the property. Next slide. So just a little bit of history on CFDs. CFDs were really started after Prop 13, when Prop 13 came in and took a lot of the taxing tools away from public agencies. And so there was a shortfall on how infrastructure gets financed in California. And the legislature came up with this concept of community facilities districts in a way for developers and other public agencies to finance infrastructure in growing California. One of the key things is how you sort of establish the taxes for a CFD. A CFD establishes maximum taxes on property based on what we'll call development criteria. It can't be based on an ad valorem basis. So in other words, you can tax property based on square footage, how big the house is, how big the lot is. You can tax property on whether it's developed, there's a building permit on it, or whether it's got a final map, or whether it's undeveloped. So it provides a lot of flexibility in how it works, and we'll get into a little bit more of it in detail. Next slide. Again, it's a method of financing public improvements, and it can also finance services. Lots of public agencies in California form CFDs to finance services, including augmenting police and fire services in the city, and also for providing for maintenance of landscaping and lighting in public areas. It's also, again, as I mentioned, the special taxes are used to pay debt service on bonds that are used to finance public capital improvements. It can also, in addition to repaying bonds, can pay directly for capital improvements over a period of time. Next slide, please. So again, as we mentioned, CFD bonds are limited obligations. They're payable solely from annual special taxes levied on property solely within the boundaries of the CFD, not adjacent property. We're going to draw the boundaries of the CFD, and only that property gets taxed. And it's an annual lien on the property within that CFD for the life of the CFD. Each CFD will have its own term. It could be 40, 50 years long, enough time to repay 30-year bonds that are normally issued. Next slide. So what can a CFD fund or finance? Generally speaking, CFDs finance public capital improvements that have to have a useful life of 5 years or longer. They can also finance certain design and engineering costs associated with those improvements. You can also, as I mentioned, finance services like public safety, maintenance, et cetera. It also pays for the city's ongoing administration of the CFD. So in other words, you will collect a tax to reimburse for city staff time and consultants who establish this and who monitor it and administer it on behalf of the city. Next slide, please. So the main purpose of that CFDs are most commonly used for, again, as I mentioned, is to fund backbone infrastructure. Think street improvements, water, sewer, storm drains, parks, libraries, schools, et cetera. They can also finance development impact fees that the city may have, as long as the city uses the bond proceeds from that financing the development impact fees directly on public capital improvements. And it can also be used to remediate hazardous substances, which is relevant to the CFD that we're forming. Next slide. So some of the basic consultants that the city has retained, bond counsel, that's my shop. We help draft all of the formation documents. We'll work with the city staff, city attorney, et cetera, to draft and make sure everything's in order. And when it comes time to issue bonds, if that time ever comes, we'll draft all the offering documents and the legal documents that will be used to issue bonds by the CFD. Again, another key consultant is Dan's shop, the municipal advisor. They are the city's and the district's fiduciary. They owe a fiduciary obligation to you. And then there's a special tax consultant. The city's hired Goodwin Consulting Group, and they are the ones who develop the methodology and determine how the property should be taxed in order to achieve the city's and the developer's development goals. And then eventually, when it comes time to issue bonds, the city will hire its own appraiser to determine the value of the property. And that's going to be a key issue in the issuance of CFD bonds, to make sure that there's sufficient value to the debt, that burden that's on the property. And then there will also be a municipal bond underwriter who the city will bring on board to help facilitate the sale and offering of bonds to the public. Next slide. So, all right, you have all these consultants. Who pays for these consultants? These consultants will all be paid from a developer deposit. And the key thing about developer deposit is it kind of separates real developers from speculators, because they're going to have to pony up money to pay for consultants, to pay for city staff time, et cetera, as it goes through. Eventually, the developer, if bonds will be issued, will be reimbursed for their deposits that they've made. Next slide. So how does a CFD get formed? It really depends on whether we have a landowner election or a registered voter election. Again, if there's 12 or less registered voters within the boundaries of the CFD at the time of formation, then it'll be a landowner election. And if it's a landowner election, the law allows for an expedited proceedings, and I'll talk about this. I have a timeline, I'll talk about it, but we'll essentially allow an election to be held immediately upon the formation of the district. And it usually will take about 3 months to form, 3 to 6 months to form a CFD. Next slide. So when there is an election by the landowners, what they do, what that election will entail, will be approving a maximum special tax rate that the properties can be taxed on. It'll also approve a maximum bonded indebtedness limit for the CFD, about how much bonds the CFD can issue to finance public infrastructure. Generally speaking, the maximum tax is set at formation, and it can only escalate up to 2% each year. The term of the tax is generally a few years or several years past the term of the bonds, in order to make sure that there's ever any delinquencies, the bonds can get repaid. And it's collected on property owners' tax bills. So if you're in with CFD, you simply pay your tax bill, which will include as a line item CFD 2026-1 City of Commerce special taxes. Again, it's a special tax. It's not an assessment, and it can be determined, that tax can be determined on any reasonable basis. Next slide, please. So CFDs are appropriate for when there are a few project owners or there's broad support, and for projects that require a lot of flexibility in terms of how infrastructure is going to be financed. And next slide, please. So the usual sequence of events for the formation of a CFD is, first, a developer will come to the city with a petition that says, City Council, please form this CFD for me. And with that, they'll usually make a deposit. One of the key things for the city, for any city who's going to form a CFD, under state law, you have to adopt the local goals and policies. And so when the CFD comes back to you all on the 23rd, if you decide to consider it then, one of the first items that we'll have there is a list of local goals and policies that the city will adopt. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the next slide, but that local goals and policies essentially sets forth the ground rules pursuant to which the city will form a CFD. It'll require, hey, we'll form a CFD for you, but you have to have all your entitlements in place. We're only going to finance these sorts of improvements. We're only going to issue bonds for your project if the appraised value of your property is 4 times the value of the debt that you're going to issue. It's going to set forth other sort of security criteria and stuff that will be important to the city and your consultants to make sure that eventual bond owners are protected and that these bonds get paid. So that will come to you on the 23rd as an item. So after the adoption of local goals and policies, the city usually commences the CFD proceedings. And that is usually, it's a resolution of intention to form the CFD and a resolution of intention to incur bonded indebtedness. Those will be the 2 action items on the 23rd, in addition to approving the goals and policies. And both of those resolutions will call for a public hearing to be held at least 30 days later, but not more than 60. And at that public hearing, it'll be, notice will be published. People will have the opportunity to come up and talk about the CFD and speak for or against it. But at the close of that public hearing, the council will be with 2 additional resolutions to adopt to form the CFD and to determine the necessity to incur bonded indebtedness. Adoption of those resolutions will call for an election to be held, and that election will be held immediately following the close of the public hearing, where the property owner will have a ballot and will vote, ostensibly in favor of forming the CFD. At that point in time, the city council will certify the election results, and there'll be an ordinance that'll be introduced that will, an ordinance that will authorize the levy of a special tax on all the property just within the boundaries of the CFD. Remember, it's just the boundaries of the CFD that's affected. And then from that point forward, we will record a notice of special tax lien on the property that will then sort of put the tax lien on the property and give notice to all subsequent purchasers that this property is within the boundaries of the CFD. Next slide. Actually go to we already talked about this one, so next slide again. So local goals and policies, again, as I mentioned, this slide right here, I sort of went through a lot of this already, but this is sort of a summary of some of the key things that would be in the goals and policies that will be in your agenda package, and you'll have a chance to review and talk about. But again, value to lien criteria. It'll set an effective tax rate, so the amount of the property taxes in addition to the CFD special taxes won't be in excess of 2% of the value, the sales prices of the homes. And then maybe go on to the next slide, please. So once the CFD is formed, and at the appropriate time, staff will come back, the developer will request that, hey, we're ready and we want to issue bonds secured by the special taxes in the CFD. And so at that point in time, our shop will work with the financing team to develop all the legal documents and bring those back to the council for approval. And then assuming the city council were to approve the bond sale, the bonds would be issued and sold by the underwriter and sold to the public, and that would generate bond proceeds. Can we go to the next slide? Maybe I'll step back for just 1 second. The resolution that you would approve to issue the bonds will include a variety of financing documents that are laid out here. There's an official statement, which is a bond prospectus. That's how the bonds are offered. There's a bond purchase agreement, and then a bond indenture, which is the contract with investors. Next slide. So again, some general requirements for the CFD issuance is, per state law, there's a minimum requirement of 3-to-1 value to lien. I think the policy that we're proposing that you adopt next, and at your next meeting will be a 4-to-1 value to lien. There's always a reserve fund funded in basically a year's worth of debt service for protection for bond owners. And then I think an important aspect for the council to understand is that ultimately the security for the repayment of the bonds is the special taxes that have a lien on the property. And so if the property owners do not pay their special taxes, there's a covenant for the city to foreclose on those property owners. Next slide. We can actually go to the next slide after that. So what happens when bonds are issued? So after the bonds have been issued, there's a cash at the trustee, and it's available then to reimburse the developers. Next slide. One of the key documents that we'll negotiate on your behalf and work with the Public Works Department, the city attorney on, is what's called an acquisition agreement. And that's the agreement with the developer that says, if you build this public infrastructure and you build it to the city standards that we require, then so long as there's bond proceeds, and only to the extent that we have bond proceeds, we will acquire that public infrastructure from you and pay you the price of your construction costs. And so that's what's set forth in the acquisition agreement, and that's how the developers get reimbursed from bond proceeds. Next slide. So that acquisition agreement will, set forth how the staff reviews all its plans, certifies that everything's been completed, and that they went through proper bidding procedures, and that they paid prevailing wage. Next slide. We can actually go to the next slide too. So one of the key things is each year, the city will be obligated to levy special taxes that we call the special tax requirement. And that is essentially the amount of taxes that's needed to pay principal and interest on the bonds, to pay for any administrative expenses of the city staff and its consultants administering the CFD, and then to pay for any, potentially any ongoing costs of facilities. So that would be an obligation that each year there'd be a resolution that comes to the city council that would require you all to levy taxes in those amounts. Next slide. Again, this is my final slide, so I'll try to go through quickly here. And so if you have questions, please, feel free to ask them. But again, the special taxes are collected on the property tax bills pursuant to the rate and method of apportionment at fixed amounts each year. Collections are sent to the bond trustee to pay bond owners, and that is all I have. We can end the presentation. And again, I know I went through a lot of material, and I went through it a lot quickly. We originally were talking about doing it in a workshop presentation where we had a little more time. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them or ask staff, and I'm more than happy to address any of that you have. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan, for your presentation. That sure was a lot of information.
Yeah, sorry.
Does anyone have any questions?
I mean, I
Councilmember
do,
Arroyo?
but I'm going to probably set something up to sit down. It's just, it's a lot to process, and without anything tangible, like, to have in front of me, like, that's the way I process things. So I'm going to probably set something up so that we can sit down and have a lot of questions. It'll just take up too much time of this meeting. So I do have a lot of questions and a lot of things that I want to understand, so we can I'll reach out to the city manager for us to sit down.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to meet with you.
Thank you.
Bob Rowan, city manager, whatever. So.
And if I may add, Mayor Pro Tem, Member City Council, the action item related to this that's coming in the future will detail exactly how it would work also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments, Councilman Arroyo. Mr. Argumedo, you have there's more
It's
questions.
okay. You don't have to come up. I too have a lot of questions, but I want to sit down with our city manager and possibly our finance director and one of maybe yourself who just completed the presentation, Brian. Maybe yourself or one of your representatives have just a lot of questions related to this. And part of it is that we just recently, thankfully, the community recently approved a Kordestan sales tax. And, they entrusted us with making good decisions with regards to that. And I know we will. But I know this is specific to covering costs. You're creating a district for specific projects, I believe, to cover improvements that need to be done where we need to figure out how to finance those improvements that need to be done. It's either going to be the developer, the city, or some other way of financing that. And this is a vehicle that I believe that we're using to do that. But I have a lot of questions related to this proposal. So I'd like to definitely schedule the meeting with the city manager at a later date and time, preferably as soon as, probably before the end of the week. I'd like to sit down and have a discussion about this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Argumedo. Mirano, would you like to-
I'm on the same page. I'd like to sit down and create some clarity. I have a lot of questions as well. So I'm with my colleagues and we'll be meeting soon. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. City Attorney, is this a receive and file?
Yes, ma'am, it is. There's no action required to take.
Thank you. So now we are item number 6, receive and file. Okay, we're moving on to item number 7, the presentation and update from the Sheriff's Department of Public Safety in the City of Commerce, Sergeant Cortez.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, fellow council members. This presentation is going to be the numbers for the month of May, both in, oh, yes, but it's going to play, it should play a little later, though. It's a procession. So for the month of May, overall, compared to, so May 2026, compared to May 2025, overall, the number of crime has been reduced, and it is also comparable to the month of April, which are both less than January, February, March. The only notable difference is the crimes against persons statistic. That single number has more than doubled in regards to assaults, aggravated assaults. 10 versus 4 in the month of April to May 2026. Crimes against property, the numbers are equivalent to the month of April, 75, and the breakdown is 3 robberies, 7 burglaries, 47 thefts, 17 auto thefts, 1 arson. In this period, it is 85 total crimes against person and crimes against property, 85 total for the month of May versus 80 in April. So still equivalent and less than all 3 of January, February, and March of this year. Percentage-wise, the crime in May 2026 versus May 2025 is approximately 25% reduced. So we do see a decrease versus that time. The only spike number is the aggravated assaults. And the music that you hear is just to give another presentation from the Traveling Memorial Wall. And in this presentation versus the one from last period, it's to recognize the staff who helped bring the wall. There's a lot of people who were part of getting the wall approved and a number of things. But this is just to recognize the hands that actually had the efforts to bring the wall during the procession and getting it built. It begins with our driver, Mr. Lonnie Revis, City of Commerce, Ms. Natalie Hernandez, Mrs. Rebecca Longoria Morosky, the City of Commerce Public Safety Division, part of the procession, the East Los Angeles Sheriff's Commerce team and other deputies, part of the procession, many veterans and active members in uniform and in their veteran attire, and countless volunteers from the community who helped build the wall after the procession. Again, this occurred during the Memorial Day weekend, 2026, which was Friday, May 22nd through Tuesday, May 26th. And we can play the video. This video just has photos that weren't seen in the previous video in regards to the staff that brought the wall to the park. Again, that weekend, we gave special honors to both fallen Commerce residence specialist Joseph Angel Mena from the U.S. Army and Corporal Mark Anthony Vasquez, U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. It was a beautiful touch with the music and the pictures. Thank you for that. I want to thank all the volunteers, all the veterans, and all the staff that made this possible. Thank you so much. Any questions or comments from the City Council? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item number 8, authorize the license agreement with Tehavi Farms. City Manager, do we have someone that will be presenting on this item?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I'll present. So the applicant, Tehavi Farms, is proposing to do a pumpkin patch again like they did last year. Over 2 weekends, Tehavi Farms hosted the pumpkin patch last year in 2025 and again in 2019. 2019, not 2019. Apologize. The pumpkin patch will operate from October 1 to October 31st. The applicant is requesting to go on site starting in August to set up purposes and leave on November 15th to shut down the program. Tehavi Farms will provide the pumpkin patch on the requested dates. They provide a variety of rides geared towards adults, teenagers, and children, creating an enjoyable experience for the entire family. In addition, they'll offer inflatables and pumpkin sales, along with other entertainment. They'll have private security provided throughout. The site will be fully contained as regards to power and portable restrooms, trash receptacles, ADA required facilities. The applicant is proposing a guarantee of $60,000 towards the community benefit fund, with $500 for the lease with regards to the actual property site. Staff's recommending that City Council consider the request for the site at 5933 Telegraph Road for the period of August to November 15th, 2026, and consider the applicant's proposed guarantees plus lease fees, and authorize City Manager to execute a license agreement with Christensen Amusement, Inc. on the form approved by the City Attorney. I can answer any questions, and the applicants in the audience to answer specific questions from the City Council.
Does the City Council have any questions? No questions?
There's no questions, so I'd like to make a motion to move forward with this.
Do I have a second?
Is the motion for the recommendation to authorize the city manager to execute a license agreement with Tehavi Farms?
Yes.
I'll second.
We have a motion with Councilmember Altamirano, second with Councilwoman Rebollo. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? See none, motion passes. Okay, now we are moving to our council reports, and I will start with Councilwoman Rebollo.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, Madam MPT. Just very briefly, I wanted to really thank the vision of Councilmember Altamirano. You know, I'm very guilty of sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, Ivan, you're too much. You know, calm down with the art, like, but this idea, right, of providing these art classes to the seniors and then being at that gala completely changed. Not that I didn't think it was going to be good, I knew it was going to be great. But you know, there's always this like backlash from, I'm going to say the haters in the community, right, about it. But then they've signed up to participate, which is crazy to me. But anyway, and then to be there in that moment, to see the faces of these artists, our senior artists, how proud they were of their art. And it just totally, really like changed what I thought it was going to be evolved to, right? So really, I thank you for that. And there was a comment made by one of the sons of one of the artists, and you know, they said, wow, I didn't know my mom had it in her, right? And then they said, all this time she was so busy taking care of us, taking care of the house. And and then they said, I guess now it's really nice to see that she now has time to excel in something that she's good at, that we never thought she had in her. And I just really started thinking about that. And I just really am so proud that we're able to provide this experience, not just for her, but there are many, many senior artists out there. And it just really got me thinking as to it's never too late, to really show, your talents and your gifts. And we did that. And so, council member, I probably will still give you a little bit of grief about a lot of your wild, crazy ideas, but I'm definitely going to continue to listen with an open mind, because being there that night, it really got me thinking as to just something that I never thought I would see, right? And just congratulations to all the artists. Again, you had to be there really to experience the magic of what the gleam in their eyes and just their smiles. They didn't stop smiling, and really a lot of this art looked super professional. And I just wanted to mention that. So thank you for providing that. I know that's been your vision for such a long time. And that's really it. I'm trying to think of, we've been so busy. Congratulations to all of our graduates from preschool to middle school to high school to college. There are so many graduates, adult moms, dads that have been graduating from college. Just congratulations as a whole to all of our graduates in the City of Commerce. But of course, I'm going to be biased and congratulate my own graduate who is moving on to high school and fulfilling one of his little dreams to play water polo at a higher level in high school. So congratulations to my son, Daniel, and to all of his buddies playing in the 14U water polo team. They're all moving on to play water polo in high schools and different high schools. So congratulations. And again, it's never too late, folks, to go back to school and to fulfill your dreams. A lot of our commerce graduates are moms, dads. There's even a grandma. So it's never too late, and know that your community will always be here behind you. And there's a Commerce Scholarship Program that is fully available to all residents. So with that's it. Hope everybody signs up for the summer reading program. And
Saturday, you attended that event Saturday, didn't you?
The Palooza.
The
bike.
Oh, the Pedal Palooza, yes. Thank you, Mayor. My brain, my brain is just all over the place. I'm like, summer, I'm free, right? All teachers get all I forgot everything because now I'm free for the summer. But congratulations, Parks and Recreation. Seriously, you've outdone yourself. The Pedal Palooza completely exceeded my expectations of what it was going to be. I literally thought it was just going to be for a little while, and it was for half of the day. And it was just really awesome. I didn't, ride my bike as long as I wanted to, but I got really tired. But to see the community out there, to see the kids laughing and smiling, riding around the street on their bikes, that was really, really amazing. So thank you, Parks and Rec. But it wasn't just that. There were so many things, so many components to that day. There was exercise classes. There was, I think, Zumba. The Booster put up their fundraising event where there was the pop-up shops, activities for the kids. So well done, well executed. Congratulations and thank you to every single employee that made that event happen, from Public Works to Parks and Rec. I know there's a huge collaboration within the department. I seen the VC from the library pedaling there in the bike path, stopping and giving away books. So it's just really nice to see all the departments collaborate to make events like this possible. So that was it. Thank you. God bless everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rebollo. Next, please, Councilmember Romero.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yeah, I had an opportunity to attend the graduation. Congratulations to all of our graduates, of course, as already stated, but I specifically went to Share High School, and I was there to see my granddaughter graduate, and that was great. I was really proud to be there. There was a little bit of a funny moment to this whole thing, and I want to share with you because I didn't make reservations only because in the past there was limited seating, and I figured, hey, I'm going to be with the family instead of being down there on the front over there. And I said, I'm not even going to reserve. I'm just going to go over there and be in the audience. Anyways, as it turns out, my daughter's down there and I'm out in the audience and I can't even find seating and stuff. So I go, forget this. I saw that there was plenty of extra seating in the front, so I went ahead and made my way and got down there and eventually rejoined everybody over there, my daughter and her husband. But it was cute, you know, we're always looking for them. Where are you guys? Where are you? And they're texting me back. We're over here, down in the front. I looked down, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was a little bit funny. Now I'm on the other end, I'm in the audience, trying to find seating. But anyways, we finally got together. And it was great, beautiful event. I thought that Bell Gardens, Shore High School, they've done a great job in how they utilize the stadium. This stadium, they seem to be using it each year, and it's really looking good over there. All of the improvements they've made. I hadn't been over there in a while, and they've made some significant improvements over at Shore High School, and it was very well attended. Obviously, a lot of people there, and everybody was really excited. So we enjoyed the event, and it was really nice to see my granddaughter. And I also was very proud to send her a copy of this. Recently, we had our student, government day, which what we used to call it, but she was our mayor, and she was in the front page there, so I was really proud of that. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, wow, look at this. I sent a picture immediately to my daughter, and she was really excited, and I told her, I'll save you a couple copies so you can have them and give them to Victoria so she can share it with everybody. But anyways, I'll move on. So that was a great event that I had the opportunity to attend. And also, of course, I was at our Pedopalooza, again, already stated, Parks and Recreation. Great job to all of you and everybody that worked to put this event together. It was excellent. I particularly enjoyed participating in, I was just kind of helping out a little bit with some of the kids, and before you know it, I was actually participating in some of the pickleball. I hadn't participated. I've heard a lot about it and how popular it is, and it's very, very popular. But it was fun. It was fun, and I was really particularly happy to see a lot of the young kids getting in there and wanting to play, and also the staff that was there to help and assist them, guide them and help them in how to play and whatnot. But it was a terrific event. My kids, my wife and I, all of us participated with the bikes. We came all the way from home, and everybody enjoyed it. Kids loved it, and I could see a lot of families doing the same thing. It was a great event. Good job to everybody, and look forward to the next one. So thank you. Also had an opportunity to attend the Women in Business luncheon over at the Commerce Casino, and in particular, it was nice to see that we honored one of our own residents who was selected as the, I guess, Woman of the Year for her commitment to the community. She actually, Ms. Howard, and she actually is one of our, she has a boxing club, not boxing, but karate club. And she has been very committed, and I know that they've been a big part of that. Along with the Gaspard family, I think many years ago, they were doing it for the city. And I know they came from that program, and now they're doing their own thing, which was great. And so she's still committed to serving our community, and I thought that was great. She really had a very impressive remarks that I took note of, and I was specifically pleased that she asked me, "Hey, Hugo." Later, when we were taking pictures, she says, "Hugo, your kids are just the right age." And I said, "Yeah, we'll be in touch." So I'm looking forward to communicating with her and hopefully getting our boys in there so that they can participate. But those were the events that I had an opportunity to attend. So thank you. That's my report. Vice Mayor, thank you.
Thank you for your report. And I did see you play pickleball, and I saw you spiking that ball at your wife there.
I was just helping.
So would you like to report, Mr. Mayor?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, Saturday's event was awesome, and I missed the first part in the morning, but I stuck around for like half of it, and the BMX stuff or the bikes were really, really cool. I got so excited, I started to walk out onto the street, and the bikers told me, "Hey, you're gonna get hurt, get back on the sidewalk." So got back on the sidewalk. But the Parks and Rec, thank you so much for always putting such great events. This one here really exceeded my expectations. I mean, with all the instructors out there teaching their little Latin dancing stuff and exercises and everything you guys had, looked like everybody had fun. The bikes that got raffled, thank you to Tony's Bike Shop and I think it was Martin's Bike Shop that donated some bikes for the kids. They were so excited when they won those raffles. Also, with the Pumpkin Patch coming in and them contributing $60,000 into either the general fund or wherever it goes, I want to see if we can grab a portion of that and contribute that to scholarships for trade schools for our residents. So put that out into the workforce, like if it's plumbing, air conditioning, heating, electrical. We also have union here. We have painters union in Commerce. We have the electrical union here as well. So I just want to really reach out to the young adults and kids that are looking for a path and help them with this kind of stuff here. So thank you for the contribution to for bringing the Pumpkin Patch back. I wanted to say happy birthday to my daughter Mia, my mom and dad. It was all their birthdays. May 30th and May June was my mom's and my dad's birthday. I mean, my mom's and my daughter's birthday. The art stuff, thank you, Councilwoman Reboyo, because I mean, you've seen art go through a very rough patch, right? And you've seen it from the beginning. And if I had to walk away today, I'm gonna tell you this art gallery and seeing the seniors, the joy in their eyes, like the passion of what they created, it filled my heart 100 times. Well, I was like, wow. Like I had tears in my eyes. I could just walk away and be happy with what we created together. I mean, it wasn't just me. I mean, you guys helped with all of that. And I remember in the beginning when the seniors first started, the first 2 or 3 classes, they said, you know, I don't think this artist that's teaching us knows what they're doing. I mean, we're painting something, but I don't know what we're doing. And he just kept on, just be patient, you'll see. So I would see this painting, but it didn't make any sense to me. But after their first canvas, you could tell that they were learning. They were learning something. So some of them created 4 different canvases, and they look just like Councilwoman Reboyo said. They were professional. I mean, I wanted to buy some. They all agreed they were going to sell them at the gallery. It was a beautiful art gallery. I wanted to ensure that they felt special and it was elegant. And so when it came to sell their art, none of them wanted to sell it. None of them. They didn't want to let go of their art. Some of them were saying, well, if you give me $1,000, I'll let it go. So they were negotiating. And then when someone was going to give them $1,000, they backed that away. They would say, oh my God, it's worth that much. So I think we came up with an idea. Actually, I didn't, but my wife did. She said, told the seniors, how about we create prints and you guys can sell the prints. You guys can autograph them and sell them. And I really think that that's a great idea, that instead of them letting go of the original piece that they created, I think that with the city here, with the monies that we have with art, we can create prints for them. We could put it on our city website, and whoever wants to buy a print can buy a print, and it can be autographed by the senior artists. I think that's, and then when they found that out, they were now happy. You know, and then I told them, a senior the other day, well, you can make t-shirts with your art. And now I think they're gonna want t-shirts, but I think they were like kids. There was one senior that I think she's like 94, 95 years old, and she created a beautiful piece as well. I mean, I'm telling you, these seniors are just remarkable. And I think we have a program going on with the teenagers now as well. They're being taught by Nerve. He grew up as a graffiti artist, and he's teaching them the art of graffiti. And eventually, I would also like to have some sort of gallery for them too, to see what they've created and have them feel special. But I did see some of these seniors for 3 days, like Yvonne said, they were on a high. They were like, wow, like they felt like real artists, and you know why? Because they are, you know, and they had an opportunity to bring the artists out of them. It was always in them. So it was amazing to see that. And it was amazing to see their kids also proud of their parents, wondering where this came from. So congratulations to all the seniors. And I did go to Las Vegas to see the No Doubt concert at the Sphere just this last week. But I did mention to you, Councilwoman Rebollo, I said, hey, I was at the Sphere, and it was just remarkable, and I really think we should bring one to Commerce. And she gave me that weird look, but I think I can convince her eventually. So, and those are my reports. Thank you.
Baby steps, baby steps. My report is I attended the Senior Art Gallery. Congratulations to all of the artists. It was spectacular. It was really wonderful to see everyone's beautiful work showcased. It was a fantastic program. I enjoyed the event. Wishing all the great success to your sales for the seniors. You inspired me so much, I'm gonna sign up. This past weekend, I also attended the Color Run and the Pedalpalooza, and what a fantastic idea for the community. That was just a great idea. It was wonderful to see everyone come out on their bikes, skateboards, and scooters. I'm not sure if I saw anyone in roller skates, but do people still roller skate? I'm not sure. But rollerblades. I think I would fall on that. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the pickleball games, the Zumba, and the aerobics classes in action. That was fun. I almost joined in, but I just didn't have the correct shoes. Just kidding. It was such a fun day. A huge thank you to the Parks and Recreation and Public Works for all the staff who ensured everything ran smoothly. Incredible job. Great, great, great. This is exciting for me. I recently watched a great video for our park programming. Good job, Recreation again. Shout out to the staff, possibly Bandini. I'm not sure if that's the Bandini staff, but it was such a fun video to watch, inviting all the residents and all the kids to come join our park programs. What a great idea. I think that we should showcase that everywhere. I think that each park should do that. It was just fun to see how the staff was so excited just to welcome the residents. Hey, come to our park program. This is what we do. Look what we can do here and there. So what a fantastic idea, whoever thought that. Wonderful. Good job. Also, a few thank yous. I want to thank Patty Barunda for organizing the HN Undergrowth team transportation. Despite a few hiccups with the players being left behind, you went above and beyond to make sure the girls made it to the games. Your efforts are much appreciated. Thank you for that, Patty. Also, thank you to Social Services Ed Salcido for your tireless work in getting homeless individuals the help they need. Please, please don't stop. I know it's a challenging job, but don't stop getting out there and providing the crucial assistance that they may need. Your efforts are deeply appreciated also. And lastly, thank you, Bobby Contreras, for hosting another great Junior Olympic qualifier for the water polo this past weekend. You always run great tournaments. I love seeing that when I go to the pool. It just gives me a flashback when I was in all the tournaments playing water polo. So this is a council request. I would like to see more highlights and updates on the water polo tournaments and games featuring our platforms. I believe it would be a wonderful for the community to see how our local teams are doing and to celebrate the progress. And that concludes my reports. I think I'm supposed to read this. Is there any further business of the City Council? The regular concurrent joint meeting of the City Council of Commerce are now adjourned at 7:33. Meeting adjourned.